Welcome back, everybody, to another Go&Do podcast. We're back here, episode 7, with our boy Benson Smart. Benson served in the Anaheim, California mission, and he's here to tell us a little bit about it. So, Benson, tell us a little bit about the years you served, and we'll get into it a little bit.
Sweet. I served from 2023 to 2025.
Okay, sweet. So, just tell me a little bit about when you got your call. What were your first thoughts, impressions?
Honestly, I don't know how I really felt. I was like, California. I don't know. Both my older siblings went to the East Coast, so I thought I was gonna for sure go to the East Coast if I went stateside, but obviously that didn't happen. And then I really wanted to go Spanish speaking. So then after I read California, I was like, oh, there's a chance I could go Spanish. And then I went English, and I was like, all right, cool. And then I heard someone in the background yell, "Oh, Disneyland!" And I was like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah.
I had never been, so
Yeah, when you sent me that, like where you served, that was like my first thought. I was like, oh yeah, Disneyland's over there. So, I mean, that's pretty interesting. Had you ever visited that part of California before? Did you know much about it at all, or was it a brand new place to you?
it was a brand new place to me. I mean, I'd been to San Diego, but
Okay,
yeah.
nice. So awesome. When you were, as you're getting ready to go on your mission and stuff, what were some of your like thoughts and feelings leading up to your mission? Just like going to the MTC and getting out on the plane and stuff. Did you feel pretty ready? Were you like, I'm not ready? What were kind of some of your thoughts and feelings going into it?
I didn't really feel ready at all. It was really scary, honestly. I didn't know what I was doing, and 2 years felt like a really long time. To be
Yes.
just like dedicating my life to this, but
It
yeah.
sure does.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So, growing up, I don't know, sorry if you grew up completely in Meridian, but high school in Meridian, Idaho, where we all went to school, um, you got your call to California, Anaheim mission. What did you know about your mission? What did you not know about your mission? Did you have a pretty good idea of what it'd be like before you got there, or what was it kind of like in that aspect?
I had no idea what to expect. I literally had no clue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
There's nothing to prepare you.
Yeah.
for sure. So take us through kind of the first day on your mission, just like getting out there and, everybody kind of meets their trainer. We've heard a ton of stories about different ways people meet their trainers, and I think it changes with each mission president anyway. But just take me through that, like meeting your trainer for the first time and then maybe driving out to your area for the first time. And what were some of the things you noticed, and what were some of the things that he was telling you about that you were like, what's going on? Or I have no idea what that is. Or, did he introduce you to somebody you were teaching right away? Like, how was your first impressions of the mission field?
Yeah, for sure. So I left the MTC on a Friday in the morning, and then we got to California around like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and we went straight to the mission home. And we had our dinner, had interviews with the mission president.
Yeah.
And then after that was all done, all these trainers, they walked out to, like, we were in the backyard. There's a big patio area, and they stood on the other side of us. So all of us trainees, the people that just got here, we were standing there, and then they stood up and lined up on the opposite side of us. And then the APs, it was like a draft. They started calling the trainer and then the trainee, and we met in the middle. And I don't even know, like, what I just, like, remember seeing my trainer, and I was like, oh, I guess that's my trainer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. He was super cool. And then, that was about like 10, 15 at night. And so we still had like a 30-minute drive back to the apartment after that. And so we got in the car. I was actually on bike. He told me we were on bike for my first transfer, and I was like, no way, you have to be joking me. But I was on bike, so we rode with the zone leaders. They were in the car with us. And I just remember making a bunch of jokes about how I wanted to go home, and the zone leaders was like, no way.
He's one of these ones.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. And so it was kind of like weird because we were driving home and it was pitch black outside, so I didn't even see like what anything really
Interesting.
looked like.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, the ocean's to the right, but I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And so, I don't really remember much of what he told me. I was so out of it that night, but
Cracking jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Left
so
and
much
right.
there's so much travel in that, from the MTC to like the mission home to the mission. Like, I just remember me and Cakes when we first got, because we served in the same mission. I don't know if you probably knew that. I don't know if you did, Rachel, but we served in the same mission. And anyway, we thought it was going to be so sweet. Like we were talking, we were going to get to the mission home and we are going to be like, oh, let's just like, we're going to sleep. Like, cause we got there probably 4 or 5 kind of around the same time. And when we got to the mission home, we're like, oh my gosh, we're going to get like a good night's rest. We're going to, be all refreshed for like our first day tomorrow. And we had like a 3-hour long like orientation, and then like the APs, the zone leaders, the STLs, the senior missionary, and like down the line all had like talks. And then we drove to the AP's like apartment, so we didn't get like any sleep that night. So it's good to know that you at least got home in a decent hour, because we did not.
Well, that's interesting. I haven't heard many people when they get to the mission field that they meet their trainer that night.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
most of what I hear is you get there, you eat dinner, you sleep, and then the next day you meet them. But is it a pretty like just boundary wise, the Anaheim mission? Is it big? Is it small? Like
Oh, it's actually super small.
Okay.
It's the 3rd smallest mission in the world, actually.
Oh, wow,
Like,
really?
boundary-wise,
Okay.
Interesting.
Geographically. So we were all like within it was like 45 minutes to an hour, like one side to the other. And that's with traffic
Wow.
in Southern California. So it's
Okay.
super small.
so that probably
So
explains
that's why
why.
we were able to. And like, yeah, the mission home wasn't big enough for us all to sleep there, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. So
Okay. Well, now you're with your trainer. You woke up. You're kind of getting your feet wet in this whole mission thing. You're biking. That sucks. Take us through your first day on your mission, and maybe just like your first week, and some of the things that you did, the culture that you were exposed to, and some of the things again that you were like observing for the first time, just like being a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed young missionary.
yeah, for sure. So I was very surprised on that Saturday when we woke up. My trainer was like, "Oh yeah, we got to go out and get to work," and I was like, "What? I got to unpack. Like, let me just like, can I not chill for a sec?" I was like actually so mad.
I was the same. I was a little bit the same.
But we had state conference that weekend, actually. So that Saturday, we had the Saturday evening session of state conference or whatever. But I remember that the first day, we woke up, did our studies and everything in the morning. And then we got a message from some other missionaries saying, hey, this lady that's a member, her daughter and her husband live at this house, like in your area. Could you guys go, like, maybe knock into them, like act like you're tracting into them? I was so scared because my trainer had just told me that we didn't tract in our mission. And so I was like, what are, like...
Wait, why is that?
Just because of COVID and everything.
Oh,
we were like
okay, it
a
was
super
still-
like heavy social media mission.
Wow. Okay.
And so,
So you were a little nervous.
I was very nervous, especially after my trainer was like, "Oh yeah, I've never tracted, but we got this." And I was like,
First time
"Okay."
for both.
And I was so scared. This was the first door we were knocking on my mission, and so we went and knocked. This big guy answered that had tattoos, and I didn't even know what to expect.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it was nice. They weren't interested, but yeah.
Classic.
And I didn't have a bike for the first weekend, so we were walking everywhere.
Wait, so you have to buy? You had to buy your own bike?
Yeah.
They didn't provide. Wow. Okay.
I ended up getting one from the mission. Like I just some other missionary had one, so
Okay.
I just
Gotcha.
got it.
But that's how it works in the Anaheim mission. When you get there, you buy a bike.
Yeah.
Okay,
If you're
gotcha.
on a bike, yeah.
Is there what's the, I guess, the split between like driving versus biking versus like public transportation or walking? Like, did you guys have any public transportation or anything like that? Or
We did, but we didn't really use it that
Okay.
much.
Yeah.
Most areas had a car. By the time I left my mission, I think there were like 2 or 3 areas that were on bike
Oh, okay.
at that point. But like when I first got in, there were like at least 10 or something like that.
Interesting.
So a lot of biking.
Yeah.
No one was like just on foot though. It was just all
No, yeah, it was either bike or car.
okay.
Yeah.
So was most of your like geographic mission pretty similar? What like city wise? Was there like any parts of your mission that were more like out a little bit from the city, or is it just all just like right there in the city?
I guess there were like some that were like outside. I mean, like when you think of Anaheim, you think of Disneyland and stuff, but then like on the outskirts of like Anaheim. So it was all like pretty big city, but
Okay.
it wasn't like huge like what you would
Right.
think of. Like,
So there was no like boonies of like, farmlands and all that stuff. It was like
No,
mostly
not really,
suburban and okay, interesting.
Mhm.
So was that your first area? What was your first area
It was in
called?
Huntington Beach. It was beachside.
Oh, okay, Huntington Beach. Gotcha. Okay. So, was it a lot of touristy people there? Was it a lot of like people not really interested? Like, how was the reception of people you were trying to talk to on a day-to-day
That was
basis?
solid. We had a super solid ward.
Okay.
Super cool people, super cool members. but like trying to get people to listen to us was very difficult, especially in Huntington Beach. Everyone is just like super rich. They're living close to the beach. They have these nice houses. So they didn't really want anything to do with us. I mean, most of them were pretty nice, but
Sure.
yeah, it was really hard trying to get people to church and stuff.
Yeah.
So what was like the primary finding method in Huntington Beach? Would you say it was social media, or were you street contacting? What was it like there?
It was social media. When I first got there, and then we actually had a general authority come for a mission tour, and he told us that his dad was found tracting, so he told us all to go tracting, and so from then on,
Okay.
we had tracting in our mission. And that was like 2 or 3 weeks into my mission.
Oh, that soon.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, like, I know I said we didn't have I wasn't in a tracting mission, but that was just like at the beginning.
Sure.
And my trainer loved tracting. Like, we were going 7 to 8 hours a day.
Just knocking.
Oh, it was brutal. And then
Yeah.
my trainer loved to
On
look
bike.
back. Yeah. We were just walking. Like the days we had tracked was just walking. So we'd go visit a bunch of gray dots usually.
Yeah.
But we only had like 70 gray dots in that area, so we didn't have very many. And like my trainer had already been there for 6 months by the time he got me.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And so he was going into his 5th transfer in that area. That's where he was trained.
Okay.
So it was really difficult for him. But yeah, I think tracting was probably the biggest way.
Okay.
And I think we've covered this on previous podcasts, but just to be sure, just to clarify, gray dots, when he says gray dots, that's pretty much like on the Preach My Gospel app, which you'll get as a missionary, which is super fun to figure out on the mission because they don't teach you anything about it in the MTC. Not a thing.
You're gonna download it.
Yeah. You're going to download it. You're going to be on it all the time. It's pretty much the app that you use to track people's progress and your schedule and different things you need to know about in the mission. But when he says gray dots, they're essentially people that were found or talked to by missionaries that were like no longer interested. And they're just saying that they went back and like visited those people to try to like spark some sort of conversation or interest again. So it's a type of finding method that people do, just like visiting dots. Yellow dots are like they're interested. Green dots are people they're teaching. Gray dots are not interested. Red dots are do not contacts. So that's kind of what he's talking about when he's saying that. So what was your favorite type of, finding? Because I'm sure you had that first few weeks of like social media, heavy training on social media. And then it was like heavy tracting. I'm sure you did some street contacting or not really.
There weren't a lot of people out like where I was at. There weren't very many like shopping centers in my area. It was a lot of just neighborhoods.
Gotcha.
And so it was like really difficult to
Sure.
have people out on the streets unless they're just going for a walk or something.
Sure. So what was your favorite type of finding that you did in the mission? Was it like working with members, tracting?
Like throughout my whole mission.
Just maybe let's just talk about your first area.
My first area. Yeah, in that area, it'd be like working with the members because the members loved us. They knew how difficult the area was, I guess. And so we'd go and talk to them. And we had a really good stake president also that like put in a really good member like finding plan, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So
There
be
you
able
go.
to like help the members in the stake. Like,
Yeah.
gave them an initiative to like pray for missionary opportunities every day and
Like the state mission plan
Yeah.
type of thing. Yeah.
and we'd go follow up with that. So it was super fun because we already had something to follow up with the
Sure.
members on. It wasn't
Yeah.
like we had to come up with our own thing.
That is really nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
Yeah. So in your mission journal, I know you got called English, but what was kind of the breakdown of languages in your mission? Was it English, Spanish, just those two, or was there other missions sprinkled about?
We had about 10 languages in our mission.
What?
Oh,
I think it was close to 10. So there's
Wow.
English, Spanish, ASL,
ASL's in there. Yeah.
Cambodian, Chinese.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Korean, Samoan, Tongan,
Holy smokes.
and then Vietnamese, and there's one more.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we got Benson's +1 over here. Rachel, was there any other languages he's missing? Were you English as well?
Did you say Spanish?
I said Spanish.
We
yeah.
did say Spanish.
Spanish was in the
That
mix.
was the very first language we said.
Tagalog.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
Tagalog.
Tagalog. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So how did that work with? I'm super curious now. How did that work with like zone conferences and like district councils and stuff? Like, did you always have some sort of other language, or were they all kind of in their own sects, doing their own things? Like,
Yeah, everything was done in English.
okay.
So
So they were more like resources.
yeah,
Like they
I
did a lot of
guess.
English work, but then they also had like their own.
No, they were like in their branches or their
Okay,
their wards that
Gotcha.
were those languages, but they
Mhm.
were part of a zone in a district that was like mainly English, or
Gotcha.
Spanish.
Okay.
So it would be an English stake with like one of these branches or these wards that were
Sure.
in it. The only other there was one or two Spanish stakes in our mission,
Okay.
and so those were like full Spanish zones. I know their district councils and everything were done in Spanish, but other than that, everything was done in English.
Gotcha.
So were there like multiple like wards or branches of most of those languages, or was it like for some of the other languages like Cambodian and I don't remember the other ones.
Tagalog.
Tagalog.
Vietnamese.
Were there like
Chinese, all
multiple
that.
multiple branches, or was it just like a few sprinkled about? What was it like that way?
It was just like one, and they covered the whole mission.
Okay.
So like I think for the Vietnamese elders, they had their branch, and it was like close to Huntington Beach, and then like their area technically went across like half of the United States. Technically, if they like wanted to, but they're not going to go that far.
Yeah,
Obviously,
sure.
no one's going to come that far every Sunday. But
Sure.
I think that's like what I heard.
Interesting.
So it's like I think there's only like 3 or 4 branches, Vietnamese branches throughout the whole United States.
Yeah.
And one of them was there. Like so
That's crazy.
So they're doing that like full time, and there's just like if there's 2 Vietnamese elders, they just stay in like the same area for their whole mission.
Pretty much. And then like they'd go on English breaks, so they'd go like serve like 1 or 2 transfers speaking English for a little bit.
Okay.
So were
Um,
they companions with each other the whole time, or did they like?
Yeah, so there were like 4 to 6 like Vietnamese elders.
Okay.
I guess we'll just keep going off the Vietnamese
Yeah.
elders. So.
Let's do it.
And
It's a
like,
good reference point.
Yeah, they would switch off kind of, I guess. So like they'd probably like 2 transfers on, and then like the mission president would switch them to another companion or whatever. But like
And then they also like sprinkled in like the English breaks in there, and
Yeah.
sometimes okay.
so they were pretty good about giving them a good flow. And,
Yeah.
like, so I think we had like 4 to 6 Vietnamese elders
Okay.
at a time. So like there was usually just like 2 outside of the area, like on their English breaks, and then there was
Yeah.
another 2 companionships that were just in the branch
Yeah.
helping with that.
Gotcha.
But-
So I'm, obviously I want to know a little bit about the ASL stuff. How many ASL missionaries were there, and was there a branch there, or was there a ward there?
Yeah, it was a branch.
Okay.
And there at the beginning of my mission, there weren't very many.
Okay.
I think they went through like I don't know what you'd call it, a withdrawal of them.
Sure.
Not
Like
withdrawal.
a recession.
Yeah. And then like towards the middle and towards the end, we got so many. Our mission president had to tell Salt Lake to stop sending them to us.
Really?
Because we had
Whoa.
like a
Not enough
bunch.
to-
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he was like, he could only keep, I think, we have 2 or 3 companionships in there. Well, yeah. So
6
3
missionaries, 3 companionships.
three
Yeah.
companionships. And so a lot of them were on their English break. So like I was companions with an ASL missionary at one time
That's awesome.
because he wasn't in the branch. They had to give him other opportunities
Yeah.
for other people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was actually really cool. We had a deaf elder in our mission for a really
I was
long
gonna
time.
ask
And
if you
then,
had one,
we had a sister that was like pretty much
like
deaf.
hard of hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had a cochlear implant or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But
Look
she
at
was,
you. You just know the
uh,
mission front and back. And I saw you, Rachel. Was that a 6?
yeah.
Okay, good job.
She
I
loves
like it.
ASL. She speaks to me.
Signs to you.
Signs to me in
That's awesome.
ASL. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. Because she had a companion. That was it. How many companions do you have that were ASL?
Just one.
Just one, yeah.
Yeah, so mine,
Pick some things up.
like 70% of my mission was ASL, and that's like my wife that's upstairs that's her degree right now, and we taught at the deaf school in Ogden and stuff. So yeah, she's a freak with ASL. So
All right.
yeah, she's awesome.
So, Benson, moving on to your next area. You went from Huntington Beach. Where'd you transfer to?
I went to Anaheim after that. It was actually super cool. I covered an English ward and a Samoan ward.
Okay.
And so the Samoan ward that I covered, it was like most of the mission. And it was super cool. It was a nice big area, so I got to go like wherever in the mission I
Yeah.
wanted, pretty much.
Sweet.
All
And then-
45 minutes of it.
Yeah, for real. But it was like cut down, so it was like 30 minutes of it.
Yeah.
So it was, like,
Yeah.
another chunk that
That's
was
funny.
another ward. But the Samoan people were like the nicest people. It was super nice. They fed us every day.
I was
but
gonna say
all of
yeah.
our work was in the English area that
Right.
we had there. So it was super cool. We had the perfect balance, getting fed every day by the Samoans and then
Yeah.
having work done for us in the English
I
ward.
would just imagine that like that was probably one of the first things you realized about the mission was like the diversity. I feel like that was probably one of the first things you're like, holy frick, like because coming from Meridian, I mean, that's where you grew up most of your life, right?
Yeah, my whole life.
Yeah, your whole life. I mean, predominantly white.
Yeah.
No secret about it. So, I mean,
I was gonna say I probably knew about like 2 black people.
yeah,
growing up.
right. And like, how many like Vietnamese people did you know?
None.
I knew,
like
think
one.
one. Like, you know what I mean? So going from that to like Anaheim, where it's like you're exposed to so many different like cultures and stuff. Was that kind of maybe shocking to you a little bit, or a little like eye opening in some way?
Yeah, it was for sure. Especially like when I got there and people wouldn't know how to speak English to
Yeah.
us. And I was like, you live in the United States. Why don't you know English? I got down further into my
As
mission.
the Lord softened his heart. That's so funny.
I don't mean that to be racist, but I like literally that was my first thought.
Yeah, no, for
I
sure.
was like, I'm so used to everyone just knowing English.
Yeah,
around
yeah,
me.
yeah.
But then I go knock on someone's door and they're like, "Oh, no, speak English."
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Yeah, you like don't know what to do.
What do I do? But yeah, it was definitely eye opening.
Yeah.
It was a lot different to see that many cultures all combined in like one area.
Yeah. One spending so much time around the Samoans, you probably got a little bit of that culture as well. So
Was there a like specific area in the mission that you think was like the most diverse, or was all of it just like really similar diversity wise?
I think being in Anaheim, it was pretty diverse. Or I don't know. I guess I finished my mission in like Long Beach, Compton area, and so that was pretty diverse.
Okay.
I guess.
interesting. So I think we're on your second area now, which was where again?
Anaheim.
Oh, Anaheim.
It was like 15 minutes from Disneyland, so not too far.
Okay. So it wasn't that much different than your first area, other than like the Samoan piece of it.
It
And
was
a car, I guess.
Yeah, we had a car. I guess it wasn't like as nice of houses and stuff. If that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Because Huntington Beach, they're on the beach and everything, and then in Anaheim, it's just like a lot more compact houses.
For sure.
Just like it's all packed in there. A lot more diversity there.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what was the primary finding method there? Was it tracting again, or was it something different?
We had a ton of gray dots and yellow
Okay.
dots, and we get a bunch of referrals from
Okay.
social media,
Yeah.
and so they'd come through, and then we'd try to get a hold of them.
And they had no idea. They have no idea how their name
Did
got
they
sent.
fill it out?
For real.
They have no
It's like,
idea.
I didn't do that.
We have your email, we have your number, we have your address.
We have your social
uh,
security number. We have your
literally.
bank information.
for
We
real.
have
You
your
didn't
daughter-
put this in?
Your firstborn's fruit.
Really?
So how did that happen?
Having a hard time believing you.
She just pressed autofill on the Instagram ad.
Oh, for real.
Yeah, that's usually how referrals go.
Yeah.
There's some
And I'm
good
guessing
ones.
there are some good ones, but there's
There are some good ones, but there are some, the majority of them are like that.
Yeah.
But we'd try to go get in contact with them, and then we'd call it hybrid tracting. I don't know what you guys would consider it, but we'd go and try to visit this dot, and then we'd go knock a few doors.
Oh
along
yeah.
the way,
Yeah.
And then,
I think that was just like what good missionaries did.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna go visit this dot 20 minutes from area, you might as well just knock around
And
them
talk
as
to
well.
everyone
Yeah, just
on
be
the
like,
way.
hey, do you know so and so? Like they want to visit with us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw a lot of that in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. And was the culture again just like super diverse, and it was just different than? And that's just I just didn't realize that. That was one of the things I was not ready for. Was like how diverse Anaheim was.
Mm-hmm.
10 languages just seems so crazy for
Yeah.
some reason in a 45-minute
Span.
radius. That's just
Yeah.
that's wild to me. So yeah. So in that area, you're kind of getting. Do you feel like you're starting to get comfortable with missionary work and how the flow of missionary life is going and stuff like that? Or are you still like, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of faking it.
Yeah, I felt like I was faking it for the first transfer in that area because in Huntington Beach, I was there for 3 transfers, and I taught maybe 1 lesson. It was like we did not teach. It was
Wow.
really difficult.
Okay.
A lot of it was member work or just like trying to visit the gray dots, like I said.
Yeah.
But in Anaheim, it was really difficult. That first transfer, I was like I remember my companion at that time. We went up to this guy, this gray dot that had been put on date for baptism before, and my companion goes, "Hey, we saw that you wanted to be baptized in the past. Is that something you'd be interested in again?" And I literally went, "That's how you do missionary work?"
Yeah.
Like literally, we were walking away. I was like, "No way, you just asked him that." And then come to find out, that's how you do missionary work.
Yeah.
I was like, we're here to like literally teach people and
Get
stuff.
people
So
to just get in the waters of baptism.
after
Yeah.
that first transfer in Anaheim, my companion was super good. he helped me a lot. I don't know, no disrespect to my actual trainer, but that companion, like, I feel like technically trained me
Yeah.
because like we had missionary work to do and he taught me how
sure.
to actually teach.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
No, for sure. I feel like a lot of people have that experience with like their trainer to their second companion. I mean, even me included. My trainer was awesome. We got along super well, and like I loved him. Still friends with him. We were over his house last night. But then but he was just out of training too. So we were both like figuring this thing out together. My second companion I got though was like a very experienced 18-month in on the mission. He served like 9 months in our mission, then went to Kyiv, Ukraine for 9 months, then came back. So he was like very well versed. And so he really like trained me on some things that my trainer just didn't know. Like it wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
He just like didn't know some of the things that my second companion knew. And so it was kind of hard though, adjusting from like, one companion to the next. So question about companions, like, do you feel like you had any like tough companions up to this point that you were like, difficult situations? And if you did, how did you deal with those? Because, people are going to have that. They're going to have those companions that are kind of rough, harder to deal with, harder to love. Mm-hmm. Like, how did you deal with some of that stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So you're talking about like hard companions up to this point in my second area? Or
Sure. Or just like one that you're
mission?
like, yeah, here's one that off the top of my head that I can tell you about.
Yeah, there was definitely one that I really struggled with. We did not click at all. He had some struggles with some things. Like he was very like he had to be obedient to the max. Like even if our mission president said something like Nerf guns was okay, he just knew it was wrong in his head and was like, I can't touch a Nerf gun. I can't go around that. So it was really difficult. And he was the district leader and I was the companion. And so like sometimes when the sisters or other elders in the district would ask for something, he would like literally be like looking through the standards trying to find like if he could say yes to it or not. And I literally was like, dude, just tell them they can go do this. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like they're not leaving the mission. They're not breaking any standards. They just want to get food outside their area and they already live outside their area.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, it was literally like so stupid. But I don't know. I came to love him actually because I started focusing on what can I learn from him. And he was a super good teacher.
Yeah.
And he taught me how to teach very well and ask questions as I taught. And it was just super cool to like see that. And then after we weren't comps, like the first time I saw him, he like gave me a big hug.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, what's up, elder? And I was like, I don't know if I want to talk to you right now, but
yeah,
we made it work.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. I feel like that's important to remember is like, even in trials in general in life, it's like instead of asking, I don't know who said this, so I'm not going to give them any credit because I don't know, but they're like, instead of focusing on like why me, it's more like what can I learn from this? And typically, once you learn what you're supposed to learn, then you can move on. You know what I mean? From trials that we get in our lives, so it's a really important thing to remember. Like instead of asking just like, gosh, why is this guy this way? Or like, why does he do the things? It's like, what can I actually just learn from him? Mm-hmm. And then that'll help me in the long run.
Yeah. What I gather from that is you guys had some Nerf battles on your mission? Or
there were just some Nerf guns in our apartment when he got there and he
just couldn't.
Yeah.
That was a weird thing, actually. There's a couple different apartments where we had just like a bucket of Nerf guns.
Yeah.
It was like,
who
bought these and left them here?
I'm pretty sure in a few areas I had, like, there was like P-Day Nerf battles, like Nerf guns and stuff. So
yeah. Anyway, so let me just knock one more question. It might be a stupid question. Okay,
I'm in.
You weren't allowed to go to Disneyland, right?
No, we were not.
I had to ask.
That would have been the best P-Day activity.
I'm sure there's gonna be people watching.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a good question.
The whole time they're like, could I go like on a P-Day one time? Like,
no, we did not go to Disneyland, but we could go to downtown Disney, and so we could go walk around there, like where all the stores are, and everything. It's really expensive, not really worth it.
Yeah, get a $6 Mickey Mouse waffle from
Yeah.
Jamba Juice.
Yeah,
it's like all I remember from downtown Disney.
Yeah, but it was fun because I had never been to Disneyland, so I had to get it done, and then got it out of the way. I had one of my companions. He was like, "I want to take you for your first time," so we went, and then I had companions that had never been, and I was like, "I don't want to take you for your first time," but they really wanted to go, so I had to go with them.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, got that out of the way.
Good question, Cakes.
So Anaheim second area. Where's your third area?
It was in like the Santa Ana / Orange area, like Tustin. So it was a little bit nicer of an area.
When you say Orange, is that Orange County?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like Orange County is like most of our mission.
Okay.
But it's like the city of Orange in Orange County.
Didn't know there was a difference.
There's
Yeah.
another.
Yeah, it was a very nice area. So like on one half of the area was like most of the members, very nice area, and then the other half was a lot of Hispanics, a lot of Spanish speakers, a little bit more like houses that are really close together, a lot of apartment complexes.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it was a good balance in that area. It
Yeah.
was really fun.
Would you say it was, you just brought up something I was curious about, more apartments or was it a lot of row homes? Like in Baltimore, it was just so many townhouses, row homes.
Yeah. So
What was it like in your just mission in general? Was it a lot of apartments? Was it a lot of row homes? Or was it like in Meridian or Idaho or Meridian or like Utah? Are there houses spread out?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was not like Meridian or Idaho or Utah.
Oh, I
It
said
was,
that.
yeah.
Meridian or Idaho?
Meridian or Idaho or
It was definitely like a lot of apartments, a lot of what are those? Yeah, like complexes, like apartments and like duplexes
Yeah.
or like things like
Townhomes,
that. Townhomes,
close
a lot of
together.
townhomes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
They were all like
So it's not-
stacked on top of each other.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Trying to,
yeah.
Okay.
it's really it made finding people really difficult because there'd be like one address and then like behind the house it'd be like the one half address. of
Oh,
that,
the
or, like,
halves.
halves
I
are-
hate the
oh.
halves. Ugh.
it was
They drove me
brutal.
crazy.
Yeah. So at this point in your mission, how far are you in? You're in your third area, so are you like 9 months, 10 months, 11 months?
Yeah, about
Where you
10
at?
or 11 months. So I
Okay.
had 3 transfers in my first area, then 4 transfers in my second area.
Gotcha.
So at this point, I'm almost to a year.
Yeah.
Um,
So what are some of the things that you're starting to realize that you brought with you from your mission to the mission? And I'm not meaning like physical things necessarily. I'm meaning like, for example, like me and Cakes, like, basketball players. And like in Baltimore, it was a big thing to play basketball. People played basketball all the time. So it was like, yeah, my athletic like skills or whatever you want to call it helped me to find people, or just like my, being personable and being able to like connect with them on different levels of like just sports in general, spark a conversation about sports, transition into the gospel, something like that. What do you feel like you had before the mission that helped you as a missionary? Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Does that question make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I'd say a lot of it had to do with like athleticism as well, playing sports, just being able to like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Connect?
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
no,
I was
you're
gonna
good.
say compute. Yeah, like being able to connect with people like in that way, and just being able to try to like find them or help them
Yeah.
like relate the gospel to sports
sure.
or something like that.
Well, especially in California where they have the Rams, the Chargers, the Kings, the Lakers, the Clippers, name
Yeah.
whatever. I don't even know
They
any.
had like the Dodgers, the Angels.
Sure,
like,
baseball,
everyone
Anaheim.
loved. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people, everybody kind of had a sports connection, I guess,
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
Most of the time, yeah. I'd say that was probably a big one. I haven't really thought about that, honestly. I don't know. I feel like I connected with a lot of people. This is going to sound really weird, but I mowed lawns in high school with my brothers.
Yeah.
And so, like, I connected with people like, with that. I don't even know how, but, like, they'd always ask, like, what I did, and then we'd talk about it, and they'd be like, oh, I know someone that does landscaping or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like in California, they mow year-round because there's
Sure.
no snow or anything. And so it's like there's always people out doing yard work and stuff. And
Sure.
so it's kind of weird.
Interesting.
I was able to relate to people like that.
No, I mean, that's the answer to my question.
They respected that you were a blue collar man,
Blue collar.
just like all 3 of us here.
Yeah, blood is red, neck's blue.
I did a day of fencing.
Yeah.
Okay, so third area, you're 11 months in. Again, is it similar to which area would it be more similar to? Your first area in Anaheim or first area in Huntington Beach or second area in Anaheim?
Second area in Anaheim.
Okay.
For sure.
Gotcha. So again, visiting gray dots, referrals, still a lot of referrals there?
A lot of referrals.
Okay. Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
And so what was the wards like in Anaheim and in
Orange. Yeah.
Orange?
It's the
That was-
orange.
that was
steak,
the
yeah.
third. That was the third area.
You're good. The ward in Anaheim, the Samoan ward was pretty big because it covered such a big area. And they were I don't know, those people are just awesome. And so like it was big. And then that English ward there, it wasn't like the greatest ward. I mean, we still had some solid members and stuff, but there was a lot of work to do. But in Orange, the orange steak, it was probably the most like, I'll compare it to Utah. That was probably like the most Utah steak, if that makes sense, that we had in our mission. They had like a lot of the best members in our mission were in that steak. I had a really good ward there, and it was a decent size compared to like Huntington Beach and Anaheim, where it wasn't that big of size.
Yeah. So something that everybody who gets called on a mission will find out. Even in foreign missions, I'm pretty sure they get like MSF, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So on your mission, you'll get like what's called MSF. It's pretty much like an allowance for you to buy the essentials of like groceries and help me out, toiletries, stuff like that. And obviously gas is covered by the church and the card, whatever. I know, like most people know, California is like super expensive. Do you feel like you got enough MSF? Rachel's already shaking her head. Every sister ever has said that they don't get enough. Do you feel like you had enough to like sustain you, or like was there a lot of member support with like feeding you guys and stuff, or like kind of take me through the MSF portion, which again is just the allowance that they get to buy things. Was it like this is not enough? Was it enough?
Yeah. Well, if it weren't for member meals, I'd probably starve.
Really? Okay.
But I don't know. It was a challenge sometimes. Like I needed something, but I didn't really have money most of the time.
Sure.
It felt like.
Yeah.
I tried to be smart with my money. I did make some stupid purchases with MSF sometimes. I won't lie. But I did have to use personal funds a few times to like have to buy groceries and stuff. So that was kind of a challenge. But I do feel like we got enough to get us by. But
Sure.
it was super expensive down there. When I first started my mission, we were getting $110 every first and 15th.
Yeah,
of the
that actually
month.
does not sound like enough at all.
And then
I think that's what we ended at.
That's what we ended at, yeah. But still, I mean, it wasn't. By the time we ended, you were probably starting.
yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
And you probably got 110, and Baltimore is not as expensive as California, not even close. So
yeah. And then they went up to 125 a few months after I started. We tried getting like those surveys that we fill out.
yeah.
It's like,
Oh
do you
man,
get
I
enough
forgot about
money?
those. Yeah. Everybody collectively.
It's like every
no.
6 months or something.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah, I
surveys.
forgot about those.
Yeah.
Those are funny. I forgot about that though.
Forgot about that. No.
We were trying to get more money, but it didn't happen by the time I left. But it's okay. I survived. We
Rachel,
got
you
through.
really look like you want to chime in on this whole MSF thing. Is it? Rachel thinks that they should get $150.
It's like $100.
Mhm.
Really? $100 grocery haul?
If I was trying to eat healthy, yeah.
Yeah, if you're trying to eat healthy.
They
Okay.
want us to eat healthy and like have good meals. I
Sure.
don't know. Like it was so difficult.
I mean, what's
but-
wrong with 7 Tostino's pizzas
For real.
every night?
In a row.
You know, in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
For
can't.
real.
Even in our mission where it wasn't, as expensive, if I didn't have meals with members, it would have been
It would have been pretty
rough.
tough. Would have been pretty tough.
And even in the areas where I like just had not as many meals with members, it's still like I think we started at 80.
we did.
At 80.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like 40 a week. We'd
Yep.
go on Monday and I'm like, all right, I have $40 to get groceries for the week. And if you're like really wanting to eat like even just lunch and dinner, like a decent meal, $40 is pretty tough.
Yeah.
So it is something you have to learn and adjust to, learn how to spend your money that way.
Yeah, and I feel like when we got fed by members, we were actually getting fed twice because they always gave you the leftovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least in my experience, like we were always getting like a second meal out of it, essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, what advice would you give to somebody that's like going out there with this MSF allowance? Like, would you be like, yeah, try to budget. Like, it's tough. Be smart about it. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
don't buy the name brand ketchup.
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
Yeah, like you'll be okay doing like the off-brand stuff.
You don't need to go to
Walmart
Trader
brand.
Joe's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real. That's what I'd say like I wish that I like dissected my budget more on my mission and started it, I guess, if that makes sense. Like I wish I broke things down and was like, okay,
Yeah.
I can spend this much this week, because like sometimes like we'd get paid and I'd be like, okay, I have like all this money in my MSF, like I'll go just like spend it, and then I'll be like, I'll deal with the consequences next week. And like the week would come and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is so painful, like having to like deal with this. But yeah, I wish I like was a little more like on top of things with
Yeah,
figuring
for
out
sure.
what to do with my money.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Another kind of off-topic question. Talking about setting goals in your mission. I know just across the board, as missionaries, you learn to set a lot of different goals. Was that an adjustment for you going into the mission? How did you deal with like setting so many goals? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I'm a very much go with the flow type of guy, so it's kind of
Yes.
difficult to
Yeah.
like set goals and stuff. But it helped a lot to be able
Yeah.
to like be like, okay, this is what I want to accomplish this week, or this is what I want to do. So I'm gonna set. You have to set goals or else you're not gonna get anywhere, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
It's just life's gonna come and go, and if you don't set goals, but if you're setting goals, then you're definitely able to accomplish the things that you want to do most of the time.
Yeah.
How do you feel like you learn to just be the most effective at setting goals? Because some people, especially if you're not really used to it, you set some either pretty lofty ones that aren't very attainable. How did you figure that out throughout your mission of how to set like the best goals to stretch you, but also that were attainable?
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part is finding that happy like medium, right? Figuring out like what's one that will push me, but one that's not too low,
Yeah.
or like one that won't not help me progress that much. But I think that was like one of the things that I found useful is like starting with setting like goals that I knew I could hit.
Yeah.
I guess like even if they were like cheesy little goals or something, it'd be like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then it just like I like knew that I could do something. So then I'd like increase my goal of something and be like, okay, I can push myself.
Yeah.
And so I think just getting to that point, I don't really have that much advice for it, but you
That's
just have
great
to
advice.
do it. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'll
Because
come.
I think there's two schools of thought with most missionaries. It's like, and again, I know I reference sisters a lot. It's mostly a joke, but I feel like the sisters' approach is always like, shoot for the moon because you might land on a star, you know? And it's like, elders is like, what's the lowest possible goal I can hit to feel like okay about myself? And then I'll just kind of go from there. And I think both of them are right because you eventually will find a happy medium.
Mhm.
Like eventually it's like, okay, I'm not hitting the moon or the stars. I'm on a cloud though, and that's decent.
Some.
And then it's like, okay, I talked to 10 people yesterday, and that was my goal. So I wonder if I can talk to 20 today. It's like super attainable, but in that you start to like grow and progress either backwards or forwards, and you finally find that happy medium. Because I feel like in high school was the first time I like experienced setting goals, just like with basketball and stuff, with like our team goals and stuff,
Yeah.
like what we wanted to accomplish. And even then it was like, yeah, like these are just like what we want to do. But it wasn't really like, you didn't call back to your goals a lot. Like I feel like throughout the days with my companions and stuff, it was always like, okay, how are we doing on our goals? Like, okay, what's our weekly goals looking like? What's our monthly transfer goals looking like? Like, how can we improve today's goals? Like, especially on exchanges and stuff, you always are like reflecting on your goals, which I think is good because I do that better now too. I'm always like, okay, what did I want to accomplish? And like, how far am I? What am I doing to do that? So I think either way you do it, just circling all the way back, is going to be good because eventually you will find that happy medium. Because I was that like, let's just like set a goal that's like super attainable. And so we can just like accomplish it and feel good about it and we can move up the ranks.
Yeah.
And then I did have some companions, shout out Willie, who wanted to like literally shoot a rocket to the moon. And you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think you can find a happy medium there.
So you move on from your third area now, from Orange. Where do you go next? Where's your fourth area?
I went to Sunset Beach. It's like right above Huntington Beach.
Okay.
So that was really painful for me. That's where all the Vietnamese people are.
Okay.
And it was so close to where I was trained, and I had trauma from training because of the whole transition.
It's hard.
Yeah, but no, it was fine. Yeah.
So similar. Okay.
Yeah, no, I was literally going to say what you were going to say. So I'll go.
Just gonna say. So was it pretty similar to Huntington Beach then?
Yeah, it was pretty similar. Just didn't have the ocean that close to us. It was more inland.
Okay. Gotcha. But still like pretty wealthy.
Yeah, pretty wealthy. There's a more middle class there, I guess.
Okay.
If that makes sense compared to actual Huntington Beach. I think the further inland you get is more like middle class it gets, compared to like the high class. Well, I don't know how they classify it, but in
Yeah.
Huntington Beach.
Yeah. The upper class.
Yeah, the upper class. Thank you.
So again, lots of tracting, lots of referrals, stuff like that.
Yeah, that was more like we had a few more members that were like willing to help us, and lots of referrals there, or a decent amount. It wasn't like lots, but yeah, and then tracting.
Yeah, gotcha. So sounds like there's a lot of diversity in culture, but not a lot of diversity in like where you're at. Sounds like it's a lot of the same things. Did you go on any exchanges or into any areas that were like different, or like that was like, man, I wish I could have served here, or anything like that? Or was it all just kind of like, yeah, it's a lot of tracking, a lot of referrals, a lot of houses, a lot of townhomes, a lot of this, a lot of that?
Yeah, it was all like pretty much the same.
Gotcha.
Like the only
Okay.
thing that I would have like made me want to like serve in different areas, like if we went and visited a member on an exchange, and I was like, oh, this member's sweet. Like,
Yeah.
I wish
Yeah.
I got to know this member more.
Okay,
but
so it was more about like the members.
yeah, it wasn't
Interesting.
anything too crazy, and like, oh, I wish I served here because of the culture. Or anything
Sure,
like that. 'Cause
okay.
I had it all.
Yeah, it was all
Yeah.
there all the time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, so real quick, take us through just the last couple areas of your mission.
Yeah. Okay. So after that area in Sunset Beach, I went up to an area called Cypress. It was a little bit smaller. It was like actually West Anaheim, so it bordered my area in Anaheim.
Okay.
But it was in a different state and different city. It was a lot of fun. We had good members there. Some good people we were teaching. Some of my closest relationships are from that ward. Stayed there for a couple of transfers, and then I went to the next stake over from Cyprus. So I went to Cerritos, and I was there for another couple of transfers. Had a lot of fun there. Yeah, made some good friends. That ward, I walked in and I was like, oh my gosh, how is this ward functioning? Like it was
Really?
probably one of the most brutal ones of my mission. But by the end, I loved it so much, and we
Yeah.
had some pretty awesome friends that were progressing, and it was nice. And then my last transfer, I went to the Compton area.
Just for one transfer?
Yeah,
Nice.
I trained that transfer too, so I whitewash
There you
trained
go.
in Compton. It was super fun, but lots of referrals there. Like, oh my gosh, at least 20 a day. I feel
Yeah.
like
Wow.
it was not even like,
So that's all you did?
yeah, like all we did was visiting referrals.
Wow.
And like the members would be like, hey, we need you to go visit these people, and we're like, okay, we'll try to do that.
After all these referrals?
Yeah.
Was that the busiest area in the mission, you'd say, referrals wise?
I'd say it was pretty close
Gotcha.
to the busiest area. Yeah.
Wow. And then you ended there and
Yeah.
ended training there. So is that trainee still out? He's
Yeah.
got to be, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets home probably 27
Yeah.
or something like
it's
that.
crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Could not be me. Just kidding.
No,
So you
yeah.
started off your first day on your mission making jokes about going home. Then you have all these experiences, all these peoples and all this like exposure to culture. You meet your +1 over there, How did your testimony grow, like from looking back on your first day on your mission to like your last transfer in the Compton area? How did you see your growth in yourself?
Oh my gosh, I can't even like explain it. Like from making jokes to like going home to having the experiences, like you were saying, like I don't even know. Like I know Jesus Christ a lot more than I knew him that first day. I learned so much about him through all the experiences, the good and the bad experiences. And if it weren't for him, I know I wouldn't have been able to get through it. And being able to like have the time to study the scriptures every single day helped so much too, to like know who my Savior is and who Heavenly Father is in my life. And so it definitely grew a bunch throughout the whole time. I would recommend serving a mission to everyone, like especially if you're struggling with your testimony right now. Like people think they have to have this perfect testimony to go on a mission, but no, like the testimony grows throughout your mission, and my testimony is still growing, and I hope it will continue to grow. It's not like a one and done thing on the mission,
Sure.
Everyone tells us that. It's like it's not like you serve a mission. It's not meant to be the spiritual high of your life.
Right.
It's meant to be like
A stepping stone.
that foundation, I guess. Like, well, you have your foundation in your youth, but going on your mission just like boosts that a little
Sure.
bit more, and then you continue to grow.
Yeah, I love that. How do you feel like your mission has changed the way you see the world, if it has at all?
Yeah. I look at things a lot more as everything happens for a reason. There were so many people on my mission that struggled with so many things, and I don't know how I could ever like experience what they have gone through, but it just showed me that like I would just be sitting in lessons and be like, oh my gosh, like Heavenly Father lets these things happen to us for a reason, like because these people always became stronger and better throughout it all, and like it was just like the coolest thing for me to see, and I know like that is one of the biggest things I had to take away from my mission to prepare me for the future, and also like knowing that I have a purpose here on earth. Everything that I do is as a purpose. I went through this big thing on my mission where I was like, I'm just a missionary, and these people are living their regular lives. Like I'm literally like 24/7, just like representative of Jesus Christ.
You do that.
I have to help them, and then it's like they are just like living their whole lives. They're just like anxious probably about stuff, and like they have to provide for their family and everything. But I was like, I know I have a purpose, and like my purpose on earth is obviously to have fun with friends, like make money, you have to survive. But my actual purpose is to become a disciple of Jesus Christ and to prepare for the day that he comes back to the world, and to be able to greet him.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Be ready. Right? Yeah. So what is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody that opens their call to Anaheim, either English or the other 10 languages that you guys have? What's like one piece of advice that you would give them? Or if you wanted to go this way, you could be like, okay, what was one piece of advice I would have given my younger self? Like if I could, time machine, go back a few years and tell myself something, what would it be?
Let's say, that's actually a really good question. I feel like there's like so many things that come to my mind, but I don't know. Just embrace it. California is not as harsh as people think it is. I mean, like there's always this like thing growing up, like a lot of Californians were moving to Meridian.
Yeah,
so it was like, Californians are so rude. They're like taking over our lives, and I thought they were going to be a lot more rude than they were. But
yeah.
I don't know. Don't go into it like with a scared mindset. Go into it with like a growth mindset. Like I'm going to grow from this. Like even if they do slam a door in my face, or even if they are rude to me for just saying hi to them on the street, like it'll all be okay.
Yeah,
for sure. Benson, is there anything else that you want to share? Something we didn't ask you? Something you've been wanting to tell the listeners, or you feel like you're pretty good with wrapping up?
I think I'm pretty good with wrapping up.
All right. Well, can you tell us like just like one like crazy story? Do you have any like crazy story you want to get off the chest real quick?
I guess it's like not that crazy compared to some people, but like the one that just comes to my mind is when we were looking for this dude in this one house. It was like on the corner of like there was a main road, and then it was into this neighborhood, and the gates were all locked. Like they were chained up and locked, and like you could tell there was a bunch of people that lived in this house, and it was pretty big, and it had like this balcony and this deck that was like on top. And I saw this guy up there, and so I like literally was like, "Hey, is so and so here or whatever?" And he just starts like yelling at us, cussing us out, and it was so funny. Well, it wasn't funny; it was scary. But I had this companion that was just like kind of a shy, like super shy guy. I didn't know how he was taking it, but like this guy was just yelling at us, like the whole neighborhood could hear, just calling us every name in the book. And I had the audacity to ask him again if the guy was here and if he wanted to hear a message.
Yes, sir.
Was he there?
Here, Liz.
He was not there.
Did he want to hear a message?
He did not.
What was this, a prison? Why was everything like chained up?
I don't know.
Is it Alcatraz?
Like,
Jeez
oh my
Louise.
goodness. It was so funny. And then he started cussing us out even more. I was like, okay, bye, have a good day.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But that's probably like the craziest story that comes to my mind. I know I had crazier stories, but
That's a good one. Just getting cussed out like crazy by
it was
some
fun, yeah.
by some guy that probably had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, I think he definitely had some stuff in his system.
That's funny.
All right. Well, Benson, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your experiences, your testimony. Really appreciate it. Again, the Anaheim Mission, episode 7. Just as Benson went out and did in California, you too can go and do.
Thanks, Benson.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.